The KCSN Live Postgame Show with DJ Kissel and Kent Swanson is about to begin. The best postgame coverage you can find. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network. Live on the 101 The Fox Facebook page, KC Sports Network's YouTube channel, and tomorrow, well, wherever you find your podcasts. This is the KCN Live Postgame Show with BJ Kissel and Kent Swanson from the Bullpen Bar and Grill in Overland Park.
What's up, Chiefs? Kingdom 5-4 is the result after the Chiefs get that 13-7 win over the Green Bay Packers at Arrowhead Stadium. I'm BJ Kissel. This is Kent Swanson. We appreciate all of you for tuning in, whether you are watching on Twitter, whether you're watching on the 101 The Fox Facebook group, our Facebook page inside of the Chiefs Kingdom, powered by KC Sports Network Facebook group, whether you're watching on the Twitch, YouTube, or wherever you're watching. We appreciate it. It's going to get you every time.
I love it. It makes me laugh every time.
Listen, we appreciate being here. BJ, Kent, Scott, and Tucker are here with us as well. We're going to be joined by Craig Stout, Maddie Lane, and we're going to go to the press conferences for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes here in a little bit. There's a lot to get to in this one, and we are going to talk about all of it. And we appreciate our good friends here at the Bullpen Bar and Grill for taking care of us. Good place to watch any kind of sporting event. We appreciate them. Kent, they got the win, which is the most important thing, coming off a weird day in the AFC where we got some help, maybe not quite as much as we could have, but it was still overall a great day for the Kansas City Chiefs because they got that W.
Yeah, you got to feel good about getting a W. And you know, there's plenty of issues to unpack, and we're going to talk about a lot of them still. But, hey, another win. No loss November. Still intact, baby. 2 down, 2 to go. Keep it rolling. Big test next week.
Yes, and again, if you are watching whatever platform you're watching on, if you have questions, send us those questions. If you have comments, Scott, Tucker, everybody, they're going to bring those comments into the show, and we will react to them throughout. Also, when we are joined later in the show by Craig Stout and Maddie Lane. Again, we are here at the Kingdom Bar and Grill, the Bullpen Bar and Grill. We are going to be at the Kingdom Bar and Grill here in about 3 weeks to a month is what we're being told as far as when that is going to open up. It is currently under construction. Again, send us those questions. And before we bring on Craig to help us break this one down and go over tomorrow's headlines, I do want to talk a couple things with you real fast. And, you know, I had an interaction on Twitter about 20 minutes ago, and it brings up this segment because it was a great line and it made me think, and it's about the Chiefs offense because I want to get into the defense, but everybody's going to be talking about the Chiefs offense. And the father of one of our followers, that's A Goodman 0626, had a back and forth with her, and her father, Jordan Canzone, per Twitter, her dad used to say, when something doesn't make sense, it's because the truth is missing. And we're at a point now, it's such a, if you really think about it, it means so much. And to me, it's a perfect example or a perfect analogy to discuss the Chiefs offense because Andy Reid didn't forget how to play football. Patrick Mahomes isn't this bad. They brought up the injury stuff. Is he more injured? I know that was brought up. The truth is missing here on why they're not able to fix some of the issues they're having. They're going to work through it and they're going to get those answers. But from the outside, there's a piece of this puzzle that the outside we're just missing. I think internally they probably know and they'll get through it, but it doesn't make sense right now.
I 100% agree. There's absolutely something that happens in between Sundays or some reality about what's going on in between Sundays too. So it's whether it's, you know, the health of Patrick Mahomes or, you know, the internal stuff that they're just trying
and we're not
to
trying to
through.
tease anything either. We don't know anything about anything, but just, and he looks like he's okay. It's just something ain't working.
Yeah, and just there's a lot of potential explanations, and there's buzz, you know, what Chris Sims goes out and says, something like Mahomes' toe is worse than it used, you know, worse than people are, you know, playing on, or, you know, like that. There's got to be something there because this is so uncharacteristic of this team, this organization, and maybe it's simply just the lack of that wide receiver 2 type player. There's a lack of trust in somebody outside of Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, which is it's just obvious. Whatever it is, this team is not executing to the standards that they're used to. They're not driving down the field with great success against, too high, and that's something they've done in the past. So, I mean, it's not as simple as, this magic defense that they've never seen before. They've seen it every year. It's just something here is just not operating the same. And I think there's a lot of little things still there, and they're still trying to work them all out.
Yep. And we are seeing the comments through. This was definitely a Tommy Townsend game, and we're probably going to be we're going to have to bring Tucker on at some point later in the show, probably in the last segment with Maddie, so Tucker can get his Tommy Townsend stuff fired off. But phenomenal game from him. But the other thing we got to talk about, which is positive, is the Chiefs defense overall. It was a great performance. I know Jordan Love is what Jordan Love, a lot of us thought it was going to be. He's not great performance. Went out there, give credit to the Chiefs defense. They got some pressure.
And then some. They were shutting them out for the large majority of this game. I think they did some good work on first down. They forced the Packers into some long situations, which really helped them out because they got some easy completions here and there, but largely when the Packers needed Jordan Love to do something, the Chiefs had an answer. They sped him up. They moved. They got they added to the math on the pass rush. And Jordan Love was incapable of making a play. Forced a lot of outside number low percentage completions, or low percentage throws to the outside because they're getting all that pressure up the middle. So really good game plan by Spags, great execution. And it wasn't just as simple as Jordan Love being there, but that definitely did help a lot.
Yep. All right, let's bring on one of our favorite people in the entire world. And I know we're going to talk about some different things, but I got to throw out, it's pretty damn good.
What?
Frank Clark.
Yeah, hey.
We'll talk about that at some point, and I'll try not to swear.
We might have to ask. A
lot of tweets should be deleted by Chiefs Kingdom, let's be honest. But let's bring on the big institution, Mr. Craig Stout, right now to help us break down this game. Craig, how are we doing tonight, my man?
Man, we're doing phenomenal. I get to write about good stuff for another week here. Chiefs defense played really well. Special teams played well. Offense was there. So it was a good day. It was a good day for me.
Yeah, hey, that's a great way to characterize it, Craig. But I think you glossed over the most important storyline of this game. Dave Tobe's special teams, man. I mean,
phenomenal.
They really we give them a lot of we harp on their roster construction decisions. We harp on some of his special teams only players making some penalties, but the Chiefs really needed their special teams to step up this week, and they did.
Yeah, in possibly the biggest way that they could without scoring a touchdown of their own. Tommy Townsend had 4 massive punts inside the 20-yard line and another one that went off of the returner. Chiefs recover, are able to put some points on the board after that. There's a missed field goal out of Green Bay, but a blocked one from the Chiefs there. They were just phenomenal. They were flying around. They were making plays. Chris Lamons almost made another fumble recovery on another punt. They were just terrific all day long. They were the thing that swung this game. I mean, let's be real here. The defense did play pretty well throughout the game, but it was the special teams miscues that won this for the Kansas City Chiefs today. 2 missed field goals and then another field goal put on the board directly because of some special teams play is phenomenal.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll get to you in a second, honey. I'm sorry. So we had the best guest ever just drop in. We might need to get her on. We might need to get her a headset here in a little bit. So Craig, just a quick question for you. I know we're going to talk about the defense with you a lot. Offensively, if I were just going to ask you one buzzword for what that side of the football looked like to you, what do you think it is?
Anemic.
Wow.
If I had to use one word, it's anemic. Things just aren't going right. The play calling's bad. There are bad drops all over the field from everybody. and Patrick Mahomes looks ridiculously uncomfortable. About the only thing that's going well is the Chiefs' run game, and then they start to get a little predictable with their run game on top of it. Green Bay was able to tee off, get the Chiefs, kind of behind the sticks a little bit. So I watch this offense, and it pains me. They just don't seem to have any confidence outside of that play at the end of the game. That was more like Patrick Mahomes. But again, we're seeing like a play every game that's like that, and so much more bad than good. I don't know that I've seen a fall off from an NFL team in offensive quality from the start of the year to where we are right now, middle of the year, like I've seen this offense do without major injuries. The Chiefs are mostly healthy, and this is just happening. Like it's not like, when we get this guy back, it's all going to be better. They can rely on this guy. There's just a whole lot of bad that is going on right now out of this offense, and not a whole lot that they can do to fix it.
All right, we're not going to harp too much on that offense, but I just wanted to get your opinion a little bit here, quick, because look, we need to spend the majority of our time with you talking about the defensive side of the football, because this was a performance to be commended. And my first question to you is one thing. Look, I think Spags called a great game. He was in his bag with his pressures, but the pass rush was getting home. The pass rush against a good offensive line was having some success without adding to the math of the pass rush. 55, 95. Melvin Ingram, I thought all had great performances this week. That was something positive to take away outside of just an overall great performance.
Yeah, Turk Wharton, even Derek Nottie got his hands on the quarterback this week. They were able to crush the pocket a little bit. They made Jordan Love uncomfortable all game, and they really stressed his ability to, call protections with the looks that they were showing, sim pressures. They were dropping guys out and still rushing with 4 and trying to force this offensive line to really communicate well with a new quarterback back there, and they struggled at it. And then Spags brought the blitzes, and that really kept Jordan Love off balance. He made him look like a guy that was getting his first NFL regular season start, which is something that we talked about in the KC Lab that Steve Spagnuolo is very good at when he has time to prepare. Obviously not Justin Herbert last year, but when he has time to prepare, he can really bring it to these rookie or new quarterbacks. He's really good at that, and he did it really, really well against Jordan Love. They struggled 2 of 12 on third down this week. That's winning. You are going to win almost every single time if you have a defense that goes 2 of 12 on third down.
Yeah, and they didn't get that first conversion. I think it's at least the second half of the fourth quarter. Yeah, it was late in the fourth quarter. So we are getting ready. Andy Reid's press conference is going to begin momentarily, and we will bring that straight to you. Tucker is going to share his screen, and this is how we are communicating internally how we're going to do this. But Tucker is going to share his screen as soon as Andy Reid comes to the press conference. We've got it teed up thanks to our good friends at KCTV5 are going to bring us, again, Andy Reid's press conference, and we will dip into Patrick Mahomes as well. And until then, Craig, you can hang out with us throughout that and get us reactions on the back end. But, guys, I want to get a little love for 55 here, and we'll go as long as we can until that presser begins. But, damn it, Chief Kingdom drove that guy through the damn mud. And we're not taking a victory lap because I haven't done anything. But the guy needs to get his love. There's been a lot of shit talked on that dude his entire time this season. And that side of the ball is what's figuring it out. And it's the reason that we still have a chance to do all the things that we want to do in the AFC is because the defense has stepped up. Frank Clark has been significantly better. Tyrann Mathieu is making some key plays that a lot of people might not notice. The nobody within 20 yards of A.J. Dillon. He makes a nice open field tackle. Not going to end up on a highlight reel, but there's a lot of safeties who missed that tackle. So those are things I'm going to give credit to. But, again, we're waiting on Andy Reid's presser. Craig, please talk about 55.
Man, I tell you what, this is 4 good performances in a row. I think we can successfully call this a streak, if you will, to quote Major League. So I think that, you saw it start to come on. It looked like a guy that was dealing with some hamstring injuries. They look healthy now. They definitely do. The way that he was able to jump the snap early on in this game, spin around the tackle, and jump in Jordan Love's way, force an incompletion, that's a play that not many players on the Chiefs are going to make. Not many defensive ends have that kind of explosion and ability to make themselves big like that. Frank Clark did. And then he was able to get pressure throughout the game, force some throwaways, force some problems for the Packers offense there. I mean, 95 did as well, but 55, a guy that Chiefs fans have all but written off. And who knows if he'll even be around this season. We'll see. Next season. We'll see what happens. It's a lot of money and all that, but my goodness, he's been good the past 4 weeks. So let's ride with this man because he is really putting it on right now.
He's leading us. You know who else leads us?
Oh, who, BJ?
Fairway Independent Mortgage. Fairway Independent Mortgage makes the home loan process as simple as possible by guiding you through every step, just as they've done for the past 25 years. Call Jennifer Dixon over at 816-390-8898. That's 816-390-8898. Great rates, a focus on customer service, the fastest turn times in the industry. Fairway Independent Mortgage. They will come through for you just like Frank Clark is coming through for the Chiefs right now. Again, we were momentarily waiting on Andy Reid's press conference to begin. Kent, what do you got?
I have that was a very professional transition by the way, BJ. Craig, there's one thing I want to talk to you about because we're talking about rushing the passer and some of the success with the with just simply rushing and getting home, and guys stepping up and being able to rush the passer successfully. But we talk all the time about earning the right to rush the passer, and it feels like the early down defense for this team was very good for the large stretch of this game.
Yeah, it was. It was significantly better. Defensive success rates of 55% on first down, 60% on second down. Those are way higher than they have been for the majority of this year. The Chiefs were really struggling on first and second downs throughout the season. They were good on them today. Really got to the point where you got even into those 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 6s that Steve Spagnuolo really feels comfortable blitzing, and we saw what happened. All of a sudden, the Chiefs are able to get off the field. Now, there were still some chunk plays, still some stuff that they need to clean up. But by and large, they did more than enough. Not as many 3-and-outs as it was the week before, but this is a better offense with better weapons, and they did a much better job of closing out some of these drives than we've seen them throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, I think that's the formula is trying to be better on first and second down, so you can get into your bag a little bit more, but also just hope that your pass rush starts coming along. And I think formulaically we've kind of talked about how this team has really struggled to play complementary football, and that's been a big issue there. And this was I think defensively they played a game script that makes a lot of sense for how this team's built. And I think that really went a long way in how this team performed. Granted, it was Jordan Love, but still, they were able to get in their bag a little bit more.
Yeah. DJ Beegler there asked, Craig, what's your initial thoughts on Melvin Ingram's first game? Excellent. It was terrific. That's about what you wanted to see. He came into the dime. He rotated in sometimes with the nickel as well as a defensive end, not as a linebacker. I know the Chiefs have him kind of listed as both exclusively defensive end. He looked good. He looked explosive off the edge, had that early pressure, went right through the tackle, played with good leverage, good power to collapse the pocket. That's what we need. That's what we need to see out of this Chiefs defense. He gives them another viable rusher, a guy who can win on the outside. And we got to see that throughout the day. Did really good on loops and stunts as well. I'm curious to get the all-22 on this, kind of see some of the angles that he was coming around on that. Looked really good so far.
All right, you can find him on Twitter at BarleyHop. That is Craig Stout. Be sure to check him out and Maddie Lane and myself on the KC Laboratory Live Monday episode, 6:30 p.m. Arrowhead time. Craig, appreciate your comments, your thoughts today, my friend.
Appreciate you guys.
That's our good buddy, Craig Stout. You can follow him on Twitter at BarleyHop as well. Again, we are waiting on Andy Reid's press conference. Thanks to our friends at KCTV5. We will be coming to that as soon as that begins.
Yeah, it just a little sigh of relief, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they got the win. It wasn't pretty, but either way, you're going up against a good team. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to play, but
we have Andy.
What's up?
Oh.
Not quite yet. Andy Reid is not yet at the podium. Again, as soon as he does, we will have that, and we will be streaming that to you. You made a friend.
I did make a friend, and we might have to try to get her on the show later. We'll see.
What'd you say? What you have?
We had a little girl come over and just wanted to come say hi.
I just wanted your autograph.
I just wish it. No, that ain't it. I just wish it was a better time. We'll try to get her on. We'll try to get her on a little bit. But yeah. Can I?
On Elite Predator. This stuff that drives me. We won, but did we? Hell yes, they won. They're 5-4. They went up against Packers. I understand it was Jordan Love. There is a side of the ball. There are positives we can take away. I know we can talk about the offense. We can get into that stuff. They went up, and there were positive things that we've seen. They got pressure. Frank Clark is coming back. We've seen Chris Jones. We saw them get aggressive We saw them set up. Tyrann Matthew should have got his hands on a ball. There was a couple other times
on the ball, actually.
Fair.
It went through
he should
him.
have kept his hands on that football. It's going to drive him crazy.
Yeah.
But also a couple other times where there was a play set up on the outside. I was like, I think DJ picks that off.
Yeah.
It was Willie Gay. Maybe didn't quite see it, but I thought he could have made a play on it. There's the defense. We were seeing improvement, even though it was Jordan Love, and they left a lot of plays on the field.
Yeah.
But there's incremental success. At this point in the season, mid-season, guys are banged up. They're playing through crap right now. You could say Travis Kelce is playing through it right now. These guys take the win and move on.
I think this team probably loses if Aaron Rodgers plays. However,
he didn't play.
There's that. He didn't play. But it's not like I don't think Aaron Rodgers has been a complete world beater this year either. Like, I think he's better than what we saw to Jordan Love. But there's been some pretty bad games for him too this year. And
yeah,
I mean, the offense looks a little bit different. I think, they get into maybe, they might get into some of their other stuff differently. But largely, I mean, this team still came out and beat a good football team. I don't care who the quarterback is. That's a 7-1 football team. That's a team with great running backs, a great offensive line, a really salty defense, one of the best pass rushes in the NFL, really good linebacker plays we saw.
Yep.
I mean, this is no slouch of a team. Okay, so yes, they lost, or yes, they won, and yes, Jordan Love, he didn't play well. He was bad. Jordan Love was bad. The Chiefs were part of that. Part of the reason he played bad too, though. So give him some credit. Give the defense some credit there too. I'm happy with the win. There's still plenty to talk about, and plenty to talk about offensively for sure. We got a lot to unpack there. I can't wait to talk to Maddie here in a little bit. But
we're ridiculous homers. I'll bring those comments in too.
Oh,
and I'll
buddy.
say that for one thing, because we sat here and we could have tore apart the defense for the first 7 games of the season and wrote them off and cut half the players and traded everybody the way that most Chiefs fans wanted, that are loud on social media. And now we're relying on those guys to keep us within striking distance of achieving everything that we want to do, because now we want to write off the offense. People want to bench Patrick Mahomes. There's a petition. There's going to be a lot of other really horrible takes out there because we won't give patience to sides of the ball for guys to work through stuff. We weren't doing it earlier in the season on the defense. And now here we are a month later, relying on the defense to help us win football games. So this is the stuff that just drives me crazy. It's not a homer to say, hey, we're happy that the defense helped us get a win. The offense has a lot of things to figure out, but we're not going to solve those on this show.
I rarely get called a homer. That's one thing I definitely do not. I just called McCole Hardman and Daniel Sorensen unplayable in the last 60 minutes.
I am a homer, and I don't care.
You kind of are.
I don't care.
Look.
People thought my takes are going to be different when the Chiefs were paying me and when they're not. Like, this is literally how I feel. I'm arguing with Ken about stuff. I genuinely am optimistic towards things, especially when it comes to not overreacting based on 1 week, 3 weeks, whatever it is. Coaching and talent, and they have it. Go out there and figure it out. And we're starting to see that on different sides. It comes together at different times. Stay healthy and work towards it to be playing your best football at the end of the year and win enough games in the process to maybe play one of those games at home.
There's going to be plenty of criticism for the remainder of this show. Just trust me, too, because we still have to talk about the offensive side of the football.
You think Maddie Lane's going to come in here and not have some takes about what he saw?
See what the rundown says for what we're talking about with Maddie. But like, if you're a homer for thinking that the defense, you're not a homer if you think the defense played well, and there's reason to be excited about the defense because Frank Clark looks different than he did. Chris Jones
almost like he wasn't, 100%.
Weird. It's like he had a hamstring issue. And I know there's
almost like it just takes eyes and common sense to look out there and be like, he doesn't look like he did before, but he's still out there, which means he's our best option and he's playing through shit.
But I think it's one of the more nuanced. Like Frank Clark is such a weird situation because he's one of the more nuanced situations. I think with injuries.
No, people have their mind made up, and every time something bad happens, they're going to use it to bop him. And when things good happen, they're going to delete tweets.
Healthy Frank Clark's good. It's just how healthy has he been for the last 3 seasons? Not. Very obviously, not playing at his weight, not being able to feel his hands as he admitted to in a post-game press conference. He looks thicker than he has in the past. Yep. He looks explosive. He looks powerful.
He can use his entire body.
It's weird. So, there's reasons to be excited. Frank Clark looks better. Yep. Against a very good offensive line. Chris Jones looked good. Rushing the passer. Melvin Ingram looked good. Rushing the passer. Those are reasons to be excited about this team.
I see more comments. They're on your screen, though. DJ Pissy got called. People have been calling me a homer since I was at Arrowhead Pride like 12 years ago. That's not something that bothers me.
Kind of is a little bit. Just a little bit.
What?
You're a little bit homer.
I just admitted it.
I know. It's great.
I know everything you're going to say about me.
You balance us out, I think, because like we get a little.
Yeah,
little
and
frustrated
I've never
at
told
times.
you guys what you can and can't say either.
That's true.
We'll get into takes and all this stuff as we're waiting for the press conference. It's amazing that this press conference has not begun.
They get
10 minutes. They get 10 minutes, and then it's normally about 5 minutes for internal media, and then Reid goes to the press. Here they come.
I think they're coming here.
All right, let's go to the Reid's presser. Everybody just stood up, and the beat writers to put their
There he
Let's
is.
go to Andy Reid right now, courtesy of our friends at KCTV5.
Series go. Really, Lucas Yang is the only one. He hurt his ribs there and had to come out. Andrew did a nice job of filling in for him on short notice there. So, listen, I want to thank our fans, man. They kind of won the game for them out there. There were a lot of Green Bay fans. They travel like our fans travel, and I thought we were able to drown them out, which was a thing of beauty there. I thought special teams did a great job, and Dave had a nice plan. Tommy Townsend, I mean, this had to be his finest game. I mean, he just did a tremendous job. Field position was a key, and he took care of that. The blocked field goal by 97, I thought him doing what he did there was very good. Snead's pick, I thought was a big play for us as we went, and I thought our defense we did a nice job against the run game. We did a nice job against the pass game, pressuring the quarterback. We didn't hold back. Guys played hard and aggressive. We've seen things that have happened. You saw things today that happened. So with teams that are favored, and you have to bear down every week the best you can and find a way to win every week. And then I just thought our last drive was kind of vintage Patrick, Kelsey, Tyreek. The guy 17 McCole had a nice play. So and then the rest of that time we were kind of in the second half, we were kind of shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties and not the turnovers, but the penalties. And so that we can work on. You can't work on the win if it's a loss, right? You can't do that. They go down as W's. They don't keep score on those. So I'd rather work on getting better and still have the opportunity to win a game. And so that's how we finished. That's how we finished this one. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
What did you see from Jordan Love today? Obviously, he probably won't be playing much in the future as long as Roger Hill. What type of challenge did he bring to the game?
Yeah, listen, I thought he had good poise, and for his first start against a complicated defensive look like Spags can present, I thought he handled himself well. I'm glad we took care of the run game like we did. I think they probably came in and we're gonna run the ball on us. And by the way, Matt's done a great job with that team. But I think that they weren't able to do that. So my hat goes off to Spags, the game plan he had, and everything that went with it with the players.
Coach, how do you think Melvin Ingram did out there with his limited snaps?
Yeah, I thought he did well. I mean, from just sometimes I'm on the bench, sometimes I'm up, so I don't get to see every snap. But what I saw in practice, I liked it. It looked like it carried over. He's very, very smart, and he's got good leadership, and I could feel that today on the ones I was watching. And then he was bringing it. He did a nice job. And the guys, our guys welcomed him in, which isn't always the case with teams. And then Brendan used all of them. He used all the guys. And so everybody had a chance to get out there and rattle it around a little bit.
And just thinking of that area with the pass rush, how much of what you guys have been able to generate the pass rush?
Yeah, well, this line here, this wasn't one that's banged up. I mean, that's a good offensive line right there. They're going to challenge you a little bit. So I was proud of our guys for stepping up and greeting that the way they did.
Can you walk us through the discussion on the third down play, whether to pass it, run it, and obviously what led you to make the play call you did at the end of the game?
Yeah, I mean, throwing the ball, you're saying? I mean, why that throw? Or
Because what was the discussion like? Because you had a timeout.
we had the play. We had the play even before the timeout part of it. There wasn't any discussion there, Nate. We knew what we were going to do, and we had it. Sometimes you call the timeout to get everybody over. Just, calm them down, and here we go. And that's the way this. Everybody was kind of on the same page with it. Yeah.
Specifically offense, you come out, score right on the first drive, and then you a shot. Why haven't we seen the same consistency?
Yeah, we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. I mean, you can see it. They're not secrets to this. If you look at it, if you're taking steps back, whether it's turnover.
All right, we'll go right back to Andy Reid here in a minute. Thanks to our friends at KCTV5 for this post-game coverage. Again, there's a few things that jumped out that Andy Reid brought up, and we'll talk about those once his entire presser is done. We'll get to that, and then we'll go back to Patrick Mahomes. But definitely some things jumped out. I love that he said the vintage Patrick Mahomes up there at the end of the game. It's exactly what you said. This is what they needed. He needed to go full Mahomes at the end of the game. He had the big pass to Kelsey, and then the one to Tyreek to ice the game.
Yeah, the stars got involved. It was a big play, and Mahomes did a great job creating late. What we needed to see the entire game, he finally stepped out and did something.
All right, let's go back to Andy Reid's press conference. Again, thanks to our friends at KCTV5 for this post-game presser coverage.
We got to be better than that. Drop balls. That's another one. We had drop balls today. I mean, you can't drop balls. Those they kill you on drives.
But first half, you had a couple chances. You go fourth down, you went for it first time, picked up next one. You guys seem to have embraced that, whichever side of the field to go. You had the whole timeout before that as well. It looked like special teams was lined up. And just talk us through that decision.
Well, we had both lined up. We had the offense and the special team, just to kind of, throw a wrinkle in there. So, but we were going to go for it, and that's what we were going to do. So we need to do better on that. We need to get it. You surely don't want to do that. I was proud of our defense for stepping up and shutting it down right there. They did a nice job with that. So they didn't get points off of it.
Andy, when you challenge that fumble punt, the one that hit the split.
Yeah.
Did you get that from upstairs?
I saw it. I saw it. But they did help me upstairs too, but I saw it. I mean, I saw it hit the leg there, knee area. Jump ball.
Oh, you're good. Sam, Andy's all season you come in here and it seems that there's been a similar, like we can play that.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, how would you rate Patrick's confidence compared to a year ago? That last play that he was asking about, is that the kind of thing?
Yeah, it just felt good. That felt good right there. I mean, that's what he did. They were on the same page, and it's not Patrick, it's not Kels, it's not O-line, it's not Tyreek. It's everybody kind of getting on the same page and feeling those things. And so going back and looking at it, I think that's a plus. And coming out of the game that way, I mean, you run the clock out by doing those kind of things. Now, there's some things that we'll look at earlier in the game that we weren't on the same page, and so we've got to take care of that.
Andy, from your perspective, what do you appreciate most about how Steve came up with this?
Yeah, so I mean, I know enough coaches in the league. It presents a problem, and the offensive coaches will tell you that it's not an easy scheme to defend or to block. So I just I think he's very good at that. I mean, that's what he does.
You mentioned back to Mahomes, you mentioned not being on the same page a few times earlier in the game. What if anything, are you guys working on to try to get that rhythm and chemistry back?
Yeah, when I say not on the same page, it's working. Is it working? Are we dropping the ball? Are we having penalties? Are we doing these things? So it just doesn't. It's got to all fit, and that's what we've done in the past. This is a new team, and we've got some pieces in there that we got to, that we're taking care of and learning and all that. So, but those are plays that we normally make. The important thing was that we did come together there at the end, and then we had productive plays. And listen, I'm part of that, so I can do better and put them in position to get these things too. So I mean, we've all got a little pieces. Yeah.
Coach, you spoiled not just us in Kansas City, but the entire league. If you look at some of the cut-ins on the networks, Kansas City's misfiring all this stuff. At what point you say we're not going to apologize for winning?
Yeah, we don't.
Last one. Coach, Kelsey's had the frustration he's shown over the past couple of weeks. Today seemed a little better. What do you see from that?
Kels? Yeah. So, again, I thought he did a nice job. He worked through doubles. He worked through the halo technique where they kind of wrap arms around him. I thought the officials did a good job of managing him, and some of the things that they were attempting to do early. And then, he had the one drop, but he also had some big plays in there. So he did a nice job.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, that was Andy Reid's press conference following the 13-7 win over the Green Bay Packers. Quick reactions coming out of that one. Kent, what was your first one?
Well, a weird day that Andy Reid just got admitted to is there's a lot of teams that are supposed to be winning coming into this week that didn't, and the Chiefs did. And honestly, hey, a weird day. Daylight savings did something to the National Football League, and the Chiefs pulled it off. So that's a big one. Hey, the Chiefs won. And that's really all that matters right now. I'm just, keep moving on.
Yeah, and the one that jumped out to me when he was asked, obviously the lighthearted one about when do you apologize for winning? He's like, we don't. What is he supposed to say?
So
it's winning, but it's winning an NFL game. It's like everybody wants to boil it down to this area isn't good. The bottom line is the point is to win the freaking game. They won the freaking game.
The Chiefs have been bad this year, but look. You've seen this season how hard it is to win in the National Football League.
It's going to be a grind. Just accept that every week is going to be a grind like this and just win games and move on.
Exactly.
And one guy that's helping us do that is Patrick Mahomes, and we got the dry erase board working. Let's go to Patrick Mahomes' presser again. Thanks to our friends at KCTV5.
Yeah, I think that and the first drive of the game that we had is real similar to last week, really. The first drive coming out and kind of doing what we normally have done and then kind of stalling out the whole game. And then you see that at the end of the day, those last drives that we've had these last 2 weeks, guys came to play and they stepped up when their number was called. And so obviously we're not playing offensively the way we wanted to and the way we expect to, but we're finding ways to get wins. Defense is playing great football. Special teams is doing a great job. And then until we find that same mojo that we've had for so long, we're still battling through. Guys are stepping up and making plays to win football games.
Can you take us through that last third down pass?
Yeah, obviously we got the false start that moved us back. And so Coach Reid, he believed in us. He gave us a chance to put the ball in my hands, called a play for Tyreek. They did a pretty good job of covering it at first. I thought the offensive line did a great job of a five-man rush of stepping up and giving me a pocket. Then I scrambled out. I saw Tyreek, and I know if I get it to him, he can make a play on it, and he did.
You all surprised by the play call, knowing that you guys needed to really keep the clock running in that spot?
I wasn't. If you've seen us the last few years, no matter how we're playing, Coach Reid has the confidence and gives us the confidence that we're going to go out there and make something happen. And that's what happened today is we had a couple big plays in that last drive. We were able to get some completions, move the ball, get the first downs we needed to run the timeout.
Patrick, you were 20 of 37 today, 166 yards passing. Outside of that opening drive, why do you feel like the offense that you may have struggled?
Yeah, it's just little things here and there. That's how it is in this league. We've been blessed enough that we've been able to execute at a high level these last few years, including pretty much the beginning half of this season. That we don't have to worry about them. But you're seeing that with the little things here and there on drives, they're stalling out, and that starts with me getting us into the right play and making the right throw to try to get a completion.
You've always been someone that has played with passion, that's wanted to show fans how you're feeling on the field. Can you just sort of describe letting out some of that emotion on the last completion, what you were feeling at that point?
Yeah, it was a battle all day long. We felt like we had good plays and that we were moving the ball and then we'd stall out. And it kind of all day it felt like that. And then at the end of the day, when we had a chance to to go down there and really win it. After the defense had played a great game, guys stepped up and made plays, and I kind of let that out of like that frustration. We made it happen, and I mean, I'd rather be walking away with the win than a lot of yards. So I'm glad we got the win.
It seems like it just hasn't been as easy this year. Where's your confidence look like?
I mean, I'm still extremely confident. I mean, I know we're going to find it as an offense. We have too many good players. We have too special of the coaches in this organization to not find it. The offensive line, I'm really confident in them. They're playing really good football these last few weeks, and I think as they come together, it's going to keep this offense going. And I mean, I expect us to start making plays here soon.
It feels like at least.
Where you went to McColl on the deep corner, and it looked like Travis was open over the middle. I wonder if you saw that. Something underneath,
yeah, I saw Trav come open. I kind of just wanted to give it a chance. I mean, even though their defenses are playing so deep, you want to still have the chance to take those shots. I missed a couple of them today, but yeah, you just got to know when to take it and when to just take it underneath, and that's something that I continue to have to get better at as the season goes on.
It seems like something because they're getting fewer of those shots. Maybe you feel more comfortable taking them.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to give ourselves guys some chances. I mean, it was close. I mean, McColl almost had a chance. He kind of got pulled up there at the end, but he tried to run underneath it and make a play happen, and that's kind of the chances you take when you take the deep shot. Is sometimes you want to go for that deep shot, get that 60-yard touchdown, whatever it is, but you could have a 20-yard completion over the middle. So it's kind of that risk-reward factor.
Some of these deep shots that we've really seen you been accurate 20 yards down the field, as you were saying, it's just been less accurate lately. How close do you feel like you guys are to maybe getting back there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're close. I mean, I'm saying you can see drives here and there where we're that team that everybody knows and loves. But you got to be able to consistently do that throughout every single drive in the game. And I mean, it hasn't been any different defenses than what we saw at the beginning of the year. We're just not executing at a higher level. I mean, we're just going to continue to go to work, practice, go through the process. Luckily enough, our defense is playing really good football and keeping us in these games, and then we're making plays at the end of the game to win them.
Couple more guys. A few of the AFC teams started up hot. Now they kind of tapered off. Big picture, how important was it?
Yeah, it was extremely important. I mean, obviously, Aaron didn't play, but that's a really good football team. I mean, a really good defense. I thought Jordan played a good football game, and they have playmakers all around. For us to be able to win a game like that in that fashion, it shows that we know how to win. We know how to find a way to win games, and I mean, it's all in front of us now. I mean, we play the Raiders this upcoming week. They're a great football team that's played a lot of great football this season, and so it's about what can we do this week to be better, to go out there and try to find a way to get a win.
Last two ago, Todd, then Adam. We're not practicing the games aren't the same, but are you seeing things in practice that aren't coming through in the games when you guys have these struggles for a little while, or has practice been just as crisp as it always been?
I think practice, especially these last few weeks, has been crisp. I think it's just we have to execute when it comes to game day. It's different on game day. You can practice and practice as hard as you want and have great practices, but if you're not going to go out there and execute game days, it won't matter. We'll go through that process of continue to keep that practice tempo up, continue to work on things here and there, and then hopefully it translates to the game, and we can find that same mojo we had at the beginning of the season with the defense playing like they're playing now.
Last one, I was curious. Did you have any advice for Jordan Love when you saw him after the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's well documented. I mean, he's kind of a similar situation that I was in, where you're behind a great quarterback that's done it for a while, that does all the things the right way, and so I just learn, man. You just learn as much as you possibly can, knowing that you want to play, but whenever your time comes, you have to be ready. And so for him, I know it's going to continue to learn. He has a ton of talent, and when his time comes, I'm sure he'll be ready.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was Patrick Mahomes' press conference following the Chiefs' 13-7 win over the Green Bay Packers, where they moved to 5-4 in the season and just won the game back in the AFC West. You had some takes because you are, as the comment section have told us, the biggest homer for Patrick Mahomes that there is. So you're the biggest homer for the guy who has the greatest start of any player in NFL history to his career. So
you know what?
That's not a bad thing.
I was gonna say, like, if I can attach my brand to his, like, there's worse things there, right?
Full stop on that. Let's just get right back to where it was. What were your takeaways from his press conference? Because we got to get to Maddie.
All right. I think the most interesting things, he admitted the lack of mojo for this offense. Like, there was some ownership of, like, things aren't going well, we aren't playing well, things aren't working. We kind of going to get back into this, into the swing of things. We got to get that mojo back. But what really interested me was kind of the comment after that is he let out some frustrations. icing the game. That emotion that you saw at the end of the game on that, scramble outside of the pocket, drilling a ball to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill making a tough catch to end this game, to close this thing out. There was the most visceral emotion you've seen from Patrick Mahomes in weeks.
Yep.
And you just have to wonder, is that the moment where a big play to Travis Kelce, a big play to Tyreek Hill after Mahomes going out and creating, is that the moment that snapped this team out of whatever offensive funk that they've been in for a big sample size now to this point?
Yeah.
You hope that's what it is. That last drive was massive. And hopefully that's a moment we look back to, right?
They haven't been doing it. Doesn't mean they can and doesn't mean they won't.
Right.
We know they have the talent. We know that they have the coaching. Whatever that answer, to go back to the very beginning, Jordan Calzone had said, when there's an absence of what makes sense, that means the truth is missing. Yeah. That answer, that truth is going to be figured out. They're going to get through it at some point. But you talk about that visceral reaction, that just kind of manifesting the internal, how he feels coming out after the play, which was our Big Cedar Golf best drive of the game, was Patrick Mahomes' last drive, the play to Travis Kelce, the play to Tyreek Hill. That's what it's all about. And let's take a quick look about Big Cedar Golf. Few places I'd rather be on a beautiful fall afternoon than Big Cedar.
I thought you were going to say standing right next to me, but that's
no.
okay.
I'd rather be a Big Cedar. I'd rather be a Big Cedar Golf. It is absolutely beautiful. As beautiful as Patrick Mahomes on that final drive.
Yeah.
Take everything else out of it. You watch that, like, that's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that was a little bit of vintage Patrick Mahomes to close that game out. But I think, sustaining drives, a couple big plays to generate first downs to kill that clock. I mean, remember, I think there's 4 minutes left when the clock's, when the drive started, and now we're looking, and they needed a couple first downs to close this game out. Packers still had a couple times. So what does he goes and finds Travis Kelce for a big play for a first down, and then having to create on a massive 3rd and 10 out of the pocket, rolls right, finds Tyreek Hill down the field for a first down, stays in bounds, closes that game out. Both massive plays, and you saw that emotion afterwards, celebrating the win, and hoping maybe just kind of a reminder of who he is, where the best player in the world kind of felt like the best player in the world again. And I'm hoping that's what we see the remainder of the year.
What we saw was the Chiefs go out and get a win when they didn't play very well offensively. You had to lean on the defense. You had to lean on special teams. And again, we will get to a lot of this with Maddie Lane here in a little bit. But that was our Big Cedar Golf best drive of the game. And Big Cedar Lodge is quickly becoming known as America's next great golf destination, with some of the best designed courses in the country. Nestled down in the Ozarks, it's exactly what you need when you know you need it. Ozark National, Big Cedar, Paynes Valley, Buffalo Ridge, and Top of the Rock. BigCedar.com. Plan your trip now. That is the Big Cedar Golf best drive of the game. And we are going to go to Maddie Lane here in just 1 minute. But before we do that, and before we throw to a quick commercial, we said during the halftime show that we were going to have a Frank Clark autographed football giveaway. We had a code word during the first show, which we are not going to repeat because you're going to have to go back and watch the first one if you didn't catch it.
Halftime show.
The halftime show, excuse me, whatever I said.
First show.
It was the first show today.
Descriptive.
First show today. The halftime show gave away a keyword. Keyword in this one, first person to tweet this to KC Sports Network is going to win the autographed football. What is the second code word, Kent?
Why, it's barrel.
What the hell? I just realized that no one has to watch the first one to figure out what that is. You idiot.
Maybe they do.
You know what? We're all 4 of us are idiots because we didn't figure that out. I wonder what the first word was.
Hey, thanks for watching. Give us a watch anyway.
Oh, my God. Let's go to a break. We need a break. It's perfect timing. Let's go to a break and watch the other shows that we've got on our network, thanks to our phenomenal partners of Holiday Distillery and 360 Vodka. This is what we've got on the college side, along with that Border War show that's going to start up next week. College basketball, KU, Mizzou, Jared Sutton, Jeff Hawkins. It's a good one. We'll be right back after this quick break. We do a lot of cool stuff at KC Sports Network. We've got a live show coming up in Columbia here in a couple weeks. We'll promote more of that soon, just like we had in Manhattan, which was a blast. Doing a lot of cool stuff. I'm really excited for the KU Mizzou college basketball, the Border War show. I know Jared Sutton and Jeff Hawkins are both really excited. We're talking to them throughout the week. So got that coming up. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. You will get those, or subscribe to either our Mizzou channel or our KU channel. We'll have both those shows in there, but that should be a whole lot of fun with KU Mizzou and college basketball. But right now, let's bring on Maddie Lane, Chief in Carolina, heel in Carolina, according to his Twitter. What's up, Maddie?
How you guys doing? This is a good game, right?
The Chiefs won, right? I mean, it's like it feels better. Like it feels like Chiefs, won the football game. But Maddie, because we're blatant homers, there's no way we're going to talk about the offensive struggles that we continue to see for this football team, are we?
No, I don't think that we should pay attention to the Chiefs' offense only scoring 13 points against a Green Bay Packers defense, missing cornerback 1, cornerback 2, defensive lineman 1, and having defensive lineman 2 leave the game in the first quarter on one of the first drives. We probably shouldn't dive too deep into that offensive performance.
Maddie, my favorite part about this offense is that they needed a 10-yard field to kick a field goal in the second half or the second quarter.
The offense I think you guys talked a lot about it. There was some mojo getting back late in that game, that last drive. Hopefully that sets you kind of on course to turn things around, because as a fan of the Chiefs that likes watching offense, I like the defense, but also watching offense, that was rough. That was hard. It's hard to watch the Chiefs offense right now. Nothing is working. Nothing is going well. And I think, unfortunately, losing Lucas Niang, having Andrew Wiley kick over to right tackle, I do think did have a pretty big impact. There was a definite difference in the play from Niang to Wiley. So, there's just a couple different things going on with the offense right now, but it's hard to watch. And so I'm glad we got it at least in the game on that high note, and hopefully that's what we get going forward.
It's crazy how Andrew Wiley was the second best offensive lineman on that team for a stretch last year. Because, that's just how far we come with that group. But, I do think that probably altered things a little bit more than people realize. But if you were going to break down one singular issue offensively as to why this team struggled the way they did moving the football, the opening script, Andy's always good on his opening script. They went down and scored, and then they didn't do anything. They needed a 10-yard field to get 7 yards and kick a field goal. They finally got one extra field goal in the game. I think that was the late drive. I mean, that is not a positive thing. Give me the singular. If you were to break it down to one singular thing, what's the biggest issue?
Nobody's on the same page. I've said this for a couple weeks now, but from the coaching staff and their scheme to the quarterback, I will say the protection and Patrick Mahomes played well together today. I don't think that was an issue this particular game, but you just look at Mahomes and the receivers. We have a couple Travis Kelce drops or plays that he just can't quite make. You have the deep pass to McCole Hardman, to which I know some people wanted Mahomes to go to Kelce, but that's a touchdown throw he's made numerous times in the NFL. Throwing the ball to a full-speed receiver on an over route against a flat-footed safety, that's a touchdown in years prior when they're throwing that to Tyreek Hill. You have the deep go route to Tyreek Hill that's 2 feet over. Everybody's just a little bit off. Nobody's operating on the same page right now, and so it's hard to point it to exact one thing, I guess, but it's just kind of the cohesion of the team isn't there at this point in time.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the wide receiver room because, Tyreek Hill, awesome, but outside of that, this team took a bet on McCole Hardman, Byron Pringle, Demarcus Robinson.
Well, hold on. Did they take a bet on those guys, or did they were just not able to bring in the other players they wanted to in free agency?
There's a great point because Juju Smith-Schuster, that got out. They were trying and they were targeting. They knew they needed something, and it seemed like Juju Smith-Schuster made a decision that he might have regretted.
And then they went and got Josh Gordon and rushed him onto the team when, he's clearly, they don't feel like he's ready to pick up the entire playbook yet. He only still gets plays in very specific packages. So they clearly know there's an issue with the wide receiver room, but it's just getting really bad. I know Kent talked about it already, so I won't go too deep into it, but McCole Hardman is just barely playable at this point in time with the mental errors and the ball security. I know he offers game-breaking speed. And you're going to put him on the field.
They think we're homers. They go for it.
Well,
you're going to put him on the field.
I had to listen to a lot of homers all summer try to talk themselves into McCole Hardman being something that he's never shown an ability to be. And all of a sudden he's going to be able to run routes from the 0 to 20-yard range. And they can't even get him over the top of the defense anymore. There's no explosive plays down the field. He's a gadget player. He hasn't developed at all. It's getting worse. You're right.
He can't hold on to the football. He almost fumbled the ball 3 times today. He didn't, but he almost did 3 different times. Like, it's getting actively worse. And then I think even like I said, we talked about that long play where he couldn't come up with the touchdown that Mahomes had the incompletion. I think that's a play that Tyreek Hill makes if he's in that spot. I think he fights through that safety a lot better. I think he tracks the ball better. It's not a gimme play, but I think it's a play that if you're going to be a wide receiver 2 in the NFL in that spot, you got to put forth a little bit better effort on that particular play. So they don't have a second receiver. They really don't. You look at the Chiefs when they run 3-by-1 formations, only one person's getting the ball thrown on the backside. It's Travis Kelce. Any other player that lines up on the backside of 3-by-1 is not getting the ball unless it's Demarcus Robinson one-on-one on a double move. That's the only way anyone's getting the ball back there. So it's not working. They need help at the receiver position or someone has to step up, and I don't know who you could guess would do it.
And the other problem is punt return, because we can talk whatever we want about the gadget stuff on offense. I'm terrified every time there's a punt that he's going to muff it, and it's going to happen in a high leverage, big time situation. So whether it's putting Tyreek back there and just make him fair catch it every time, and I know he's had issues throughout his career of catching back. I know Mike Hughes has been back there before, but at some point, Dave Toub, who is going to be taking a bow because he had a good game. I know there have been different noises that have come out when I've said Uncle Dave had a good game.
Get 8 roster spots, you better.
When Lamons didn't pick up that ball, there were some noises that were made back here on the punt, but that's what he's there to do. But at some point, you got to be – I know that the offense stuff, that's a bigger deal. But for me, just knowing that every time there's a punt and a tie game, I'm terrified every time the ball goes up in the air, it's going to get muffed.
And I believe Hardman was back on kickoff returns as well instead of Byron Pringle, who I know who's had his own issues as a kick returner with ball security too. But I mean, I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's really hard. I wasn't trying to just talk about McCole, but like, he's the biggest issue right now because he gets the most opportunities. He has the most investment put into him, and he's out there the most often. The returns, the gadget plays. He's always got the ball in his hands, and I have to hold my breath every time he has it because he is putting the ball on the ground. Every single game, he's putting the ball on the ground. Now, sometimes it's after forward momentum stopped. Sometimes he recovers it, but he's putting the ball on the ground way too much.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's terrifying every time he touches the ball. I mean, you saw like that late catch, that late little hitch route. He's holding on for dear life, just trying to run to the line to gain, and like everybody's just scared to death that something's going to happen, and it's infuriating. And to your point, Matt,
leave the other guys out. I don't want to leave, I don't want to make Byron Pringle or Demarcus Robinson, safe here. Like, you can see the Green Bay secondary, they were not afraid a lick of those 2 guys. They did not care. Josh Gordon dropped the ball, but a safety ran all the way across the field because they knew what play was coming to make him drop the ball. Like, these receivers pose no threat to opposing defenses. None. So, you watch these corners, they're sitting on any hitch route because they know that's all those guys are going to run. And if they can't, they can just stick to their hip pocket and make it a really difficult throw downfield. Mm-hmm. This wide receiver room is really bad after Tyreek Hill. Really bad. And it's not like Tyreek Hill's having his best season. He's got a lot of drops this year. He can't get – somebody needs to buy that man longer cleats too because he's slipping a lot this year as well. Like, it's just this wide receiver room is scary bad as this year goes on.
And here's my question, though, and it's not a poke against any of that. It's just at some point you have to be logical if you're Andy Reid about what you're doing offensively. If they take McCole Hardman out and say, screw him, take him out, bring Garrett Dieter up or bring Darius Fountain up, they can't run those gadget plays that we're making fun of. They're still picking up positive yardage. If you can't manufacture a 12-yard hitch route because you can't run that, but you can do the gadget shit and still make plays, that's what you're going to do. So if it's not put McCole on the field and not use the gadget stuff or not use him for that, and you're going to use another game day roster spot for another receiver to try to give him an opportunity, what does that look like? Or what skill set? Is it Jerick McKinnon? Who has a skill set that can pick up some of those plays to still keep that offensive stuff in the gameplay? If that makes sense, Maddie. It's just that's where my mind goes. It's if you just take McCole out, you're getting rid of a chunk of offense that is giving us successful plays. I know the ball's on the ground, but it's still successful, even if it's annoying.
That's the catch-22 you're in for the Chiefs because you're right. I don't think anybody on the roster right now you can plug in there and just immediately say, hey, they're going to provide more than what McCole Hardman is. Despite the weaknesses, despite the bad play, despite the negative stuff, I do think he still is probably providing more than what Byron Pringle, Demarcus Robinson are doing on a play-by-play basis. So I don't think you can take his reps completely away. Now, Would I be angry if they started dwindling down, 10, 15 of those snaps and letting some other guys just see what happens? Josh Gordon specifically? No, I would love that. But that gadget package play, the ability to run those deep overs from him and not always it being Tyreek Hill, that does matter. But the simplest solution, just go get Odell Beckham Jr. when he clears waivers. Like, let's just fix all this at once. Then I can finally tell you, if you put him in there instead of McCole Hardman, you might lose some gadget plays, but what's good is much better. Go get help. I don't know where it's going to come from. Deshaun Jackson is now going to the Raiders. Go find help somewhere else, because I think this wide receiver room really going to need it this year if the Chiefs want to compete.
Yeah, the drop off between Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, between those two, and then number 3 is just, it's awful. And it's funny. Andy Reid continues to complain about the halo technique that teams are putting on. I'm gonna use BJ as an example. This is gonna be great for the YouTube. The halo technique.
Everyone, take your pictures
that they're using on Travis Kelce, and he's gonna continue to harp on that. And like, teams are really really physical with Kelce, trying to take that away, and they're staying over the top of Tyreek, and no one else is stepping up and making plays. And I think that's
how to prevent the halo technique. You don't line Kelce out wide in a 3-by-1 formation every single time, and you get another receiver capable of lining up over there.
Yeah.
You put Kelce next to Tyreek Hill in the slot. You want to halo him? Guess what? You're Tyreek Hill off his back hip and force a receiver or another player to go through that traffic, if you can even get to that point. So just protect Kelce. Don't let him get beat up.
Yep, I think it's a great point. All right, Maddie, we're going to talk about something positive here before we get out of here, because we've got plenty to talk about on the KCS
haters.
The KC Laboratory Live is going to be very interesting. 6:30 p.m. Monday, but I want to talk. On Monday, 6:30, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. The defensive side of the football, I do want to ask you, the corners. I think the corners, you wanted to make sure we talked about the corners playing pretty well today.
Yeah, and so I didn't want to come in here and say all negative, and I realized that when I was tweeting after the game, I was like, wow, I have a lot of negative stuff about the offense, and I have not enough positive about the defense. So I want to talk about it, because the defense was good. I know it was against Jordan Love, but the Chiefs sent Charvarius Ward. He was shadowing Devontae Adams a lot when he was on the outside. He would play on the right or the left side of the defense, and that's not something the Chiefs had done very often. And I think it only came back to bite them, on maybe 1 or 2 plays that was beyond a hitch route. He played really good against Adams. Then when Adams went into the slot, I think early in the game, you saw Tyrann Mathieu take him once, but then when Jarius Sneed took over that role, he had that really good pick down the sideline, in the red zone. I think the corners did a good job. They were being asked to do a lot. They were isolated one-on-one with the best wide receiver in the NFL numerous times, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. So I liked what I saw. I liked the energy from Tyrann Mathieu. I think early in the game, he came up and made a couple tackles on the running back that, got a few more yards than they should. I think he was flying all over the place. I know Chiefs fans love to come at Tyrann Mathieu because he's vocal and he bites back, but he's playing with a lot of energy right now. He's playing hard. He's out there doing everything you could ask for out of his positions. I just think that they're playing well. You guys talked about it. This defense is peaking at the right time. What does that ceiling look like? I don't know, but they're clearly heading up to it at this point.
All right, find him on Twitter at Chief in Carolina. Find him on the KC Laboratory Live Show, 6:30 p.m. Monday, Arrowhead time, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. Maddie Lane, appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, guys, I'm going to go dry my shirt so it's tighter next week.
And we want to throw out a special congratulations to Max Ramsey on Twitter at @the_wild_chief for being the winner of the Frank Clark autographed football.
Hey, congratulations, Max. I'm guessing you totally watched the halftime show, didn't you? He's still looking at me. Oh, God.
Let's put a bow on this one. Final thoughts on this game, and all that matters, survive in advance at this point. Once 20-0 went out the window.
Oh, man. That was a fun week.
Once you realize that it's just going to be a different team than what we thought it was going into the season, adjust your expectations. It's going to be a grind every week. I would agree if Aaron Rodgers plays in this game. You don't know if the Chiefs, but there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, if, ands, what's, whatever. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs win. They're 5-4. They're a game back from the Chargers. Huge game next week on Sunday Night Football against the Las Vegas Raiders. What a tough one today, but that is going to be a whole lot of fun, and we'll have a lot of great content for you guys all week.
Yeah, we're really excited to get going for Raiders Week. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a big one, man. Hey, no loss November still in play.
All right. Make sure you have subscribed. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure you've subscribed or you follow us on Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube, please pound that subscribe button. We have multiple shows, 9 shows throughout the week, and a lot of breakdowns. Maddie Lane breaking down stuff with Matt Castle. We had Craig Stout breaking down stuff with Derek Johnson, and we'll have something fun this week. Maybe the L'Jarius Sneed interception.
Yeah, we might need to talk about that play.
Maybe I'll call Finn. And we'll have them break down that play on our YouTube. So make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss anything there. Again, we appreciate everybody for supporting what we're doing here at KC Sports Network. We are brand new to this space. We appreciate your support. For Tucker Franklin, for Scott Ward, for Kent Swanson, I'm BJ Kissel from the Bullpen Bar and Grill out here in Overland Park. Thank you, Chiefs Kingdom. We will see you next time. Be good to each other.